Hey folks, Chef Jesse here today on a Thursday evening in the kitchen like always. Today we're making something special. We this is actually it's like a soup, it's like a stew, it's a Latin uh, dish I guess. It's called Sancocho. The meaning of that I don't know, but it is a type of soup. It's a Latino vegetable soup. That's the best I could describe it. And it's got a lot of tropical uh, vegetables. It's got plantains. It's got sweet potatoes. It's got yuca, which is cassava. It's got numerous stuff. I put squash in it. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff in it, and it takes about 2 hours to make. 2 hours and a half, give or take. But it starts off basically boiling. I got this big pot. I should get a big. I'm always keep saying I'm gonna get a bigger pot, but someday I'll get a bigger pot. But this pot right here is actually belonged to my grandmother, and then it was passed on to my mother, and it was passed on to me, and then someday when I'm no longer around, I hope to pass this on to my niece or my nephew, somebody who will cook, because I don't want this to go away. It's a shame that I'm gone and the pot is gone too. So I want to leave something behind. So I got the pot here. I'm going to start off with water because that's the basis of everything, right? Water. So I'm going to fill this up with water and I'm going to boil some pork neck bones. And the purpose of that is to get the flavor out of those pork neck bones. I'm going to put a whole onion in there. I'm going to put a green pepper. And that's the basis I'm going to use. That's the basis for the sancocho. And then later on, I'm going to put out, slowly I'm going to put in all the other ingredients. And I want you to be with me so you can see how elaborate, and it's a lot of trouble, but it's worth it, folks. And actually, I'm going to have to use another pot because when it spills over, I use another pot. So anyway, folks, let's get this going. So let's fill this up with water. There we go. What is the basis of everything? Let me go get the neck bones. Okay, we got the neck bones here. And we got my pepper. Got a whole pepper in here. Okay. And like I said, one of these days I'll get a bigger pot, but I still got to save this one because, like I said, it's family heirloom. So I'm going to fill this up to almost the top. I got to be careful because when I dump all the stuff in there, it's going to come up, right? Obviously. So I'm going to put it almost all the way to the top and start up my stove. And this takes a lot of patience because, it takes a while to get everything cooking. So I put a little bit of water in it. I put water in there, put a little bit of oil in there. Okay. And now I have my neck bones. This is what's going to give me flavor. So let's open this up here. Let's wash this a bit here. I usually get these big neck bones, but these are small, but they're pretty nice. And this is gonna I'm gonna suck out the flavor out of these neck bones. So I'm gonna slowly drop them in. Okay, folks, so I got my meat in there. Got a lot of pieces of meat in there. The bone, just to get that flavor out of the bone, like a stock. Okay. And I didn't start off with no stock because this really is, usually with a soup you can start off with a stock. For store-bought stock. I'm sucking on my own stock out of those bones. So I'm gonna let me wash this pepper. It's been around for a while. It's got dust on it. What the hell was that about? Okay, so I cut the top of the pepper into the garbage. Let me get these peppers and the seeds out. Okay. And I'm gonna put this whole thing in there. I'm just gonna put this whole. Because another thing, I'm gonna take it out. This is just gonna go in there for flavor. Boil that in there. I'm gonna put a whole onion in there. Pretty big onions. I can get it out of the bag, right? Okay. Just peel Peel the skin off of this. Cut the ends off. That's how you peel the. Okay. There you go. And then you take the skin off. Rinses off of here. Okay. And I'm gonna put this whole. There you go. Okay. Now I'm gonna put some salt. And I'm running out of salt. So I'm just gonna put some salt in there. I mean, there we go. Salt the water. Because remember, it's got a lot of stuff to. I'm gonna put vegetables in there and everything, so the salt is gonna get sucked up anyway. Okay, so very simple. I am going to let this boil for as long as it takes, and then keep boiling and pre-boiling it until I get the flavor out of those bones and the flavor out of the onions and the thing, and then I'm going to start making everything else. So what I got here is butternut squash. Okay, now some Hispanics call this calabaza, which I don't think it's the same thing. But they call this calabaza. Calabaza, I think, stands for pumpkin. So this is actually, I mean, it's related to the pumpkin, but it's not like those orange pumpkins you see for Halloween and stuff like that. This is green on the outside. I peeled it up. I peeled it. I took the green off, but this is butternut squash, and this is squash, probably related to the pumpkin family. I don't know, but this gives it a nice flavor. It gives it a little bit of sweetness, and it's good. I don't eat it, but it's good. So it goes in there. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this that I don't eat, but you have to have it in there for the flavor. So we're going to start off with this. Now we're going to start off, we're going to put some plantains, okay? And I'm going to peel these plantains. I'll show you how I peel them. I don't know. I've shown you numerous times how to peel plantains. Take the tips off. Make a slit in here. Don't cut all the way in the meat. I use a fork. I like to use a knife that's similar to a butter knife. You can use a butter knife and just peel the skin off, okay? And these things have been sitting for a while in room temperature, so they should be, well, actually for a couple of days, so it should be easy to peel. If not, just run it under hot water, warm water, and it should peel. Okay, so there you go. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these. Actually, I'm going to do two things with these. Half and half. These things are going to cut into little wheels. Little slices. And then this is also get boiled into the stew, into the sancocho. Okay? There we go. Okay, so we're going to cut this up. Are you watching me? Okay. There we go. Put this into the bowl with all the other stuff, like this. Okay. I'm going to continue doing that. Now, what I got here looks like a plantain, but it's not. So you can't. You go to the supermarket. You gotta. If you're not familiar, this is a plátano. This is a plantain. When it ripens and turns yellow, it's called maduro. Okay, this is not a green banana. These are green bananas. Okay, so you gotta know the difference. And I know if you're not, these are green bananas. These are the ones that turn yellow, and then you can eat them. But when they're green, you can't. You gotta boil them. Some people fry them. I don't know. Okay, so what I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna peel these. Actually, these two, if I leave them out for a couple of days, they'll turn yellow, and I can eat them like a banana. They are bananas. So these are green bananas. Same thing. I'll cut the tip off. Okay. Slit, peel. There you go. There you go, and there you go. Okay. So, and then again, these things also get cut into little wheels. and thrown into the Sancocho. So here we go. And again, if you got palms peeling these things, you could always run them under water and it should come off, okay? So again, cut these into wheels. And all this stuff gets thrown into the mixture. And we're ready. And I want you to stay with me so you can see how when I'm ready. So folks, there must be hundreds of ways to make sancocho. Everybody makes it differently. People put different kind of meats. People put 2-3 different kind of meats. You know, there's all kind of different ways. This is the way I learned way back in when I lived in Jersey back in the 90s. I know how to make this, and I've been making it ever since. And I like it. Everybody else likes it. So let me wash my hands because I was actually peeling some plantains. And plantains turn your fingers black. There's something in there that turns your fingers black like this. So my fingers are not dirty. They're plantain infested. So I got the plátanos. And what I'm gonna be making now, it's like meatballs, like Puerto Rican style, like Puerto Rican meatballs, but they're not made of meat. They're made from plantain. And I want to show you how I do them. Okay, so first of all, here we go. You see this here? I got this grater. Okay, let's get this grater here. It's kind of like, okay. Let's get this, what is it? Something stuck here. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna clean it. Okay, we're gonna clean that grater. Make sure. Now, what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start to grate these plantains, and it's gonna be like it's gonna look like a little big pile of mush. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shape them into little balls. Again, they're like meatballs. And then this is going into the stew itself, into the sancocho. So you get yourself a grater like this, okay, and just grate it. Okay, there you go. And sometimes, depending on the plantain, it's kind of tricky. But yeah, you make them into. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you're gonna make them after you make this mix, this batter. Like you go, just watch your fingers. You're gonna make them into medium-sized balls, small balls, like because it's gonna grow. Plantain grows, so when you boil them, they're gonna be big. So you don't want to make them that big. You want to make them a nice, a little bit smaller than a golf ball. Okay. And I got 5 plantains, so I should be able to make enough of these golf balls, these Puerto Rican meatballs. That's what I call them. I don't know what they're, I forgot what the name of them are, but they're made from plantain. And it gives it really, really a good flavor. Okay, so again, watch your fingers, and then I'm going to show you when I come back how I make these things. So folks, I'm going to start making my little balls of plantain. I'm going to wet my hand so it doesn't get sticky. I'm going to start making them into a ball. Not just like meatballs. Squeeze any liquid out of it. And this is what I want. I want about a little bit smaller than a golf ball, because again, they're going to grow. When they boil, when they start to cook, they'll grow and then they'll become too big and hard. So you got to make them a decent size, small size. Okay. And I like to keep my hands wet so that it's more manageable, just like when I do the meatballs. Keep your hands wet. There you go. And I know I'm running water. I'm running the water a lot. Lucky that I don't pay water. My water bill will be up the wazoo. There we go. I'm gonna make about, I don't know, whatever comes out of this, maybe 10, 11 these little balls. Now, sometime this week I'm gonna have to make meatballs, because this is giving me the sensation I want to make meatballs. So there you go. So look at them. They're looking nice. I got 2, 4, 6, 8. I got 8. And then we're going to do 9. There we go. Do 9. 10. Do 10. Do 11. Yeah. So folks, here I got my my Puerto Rican meatballs, like I call them. There's 14 of them because I think there's 14 of them. I don't do 13. I don't even do 13 meatballs. I don't know. I'm suspicious. I'm superstitious like that. So 13 meatballs. If I end up with 13 meatballs, either one gets tossed away, or a little bit take the meat off each one and make a 14. So these are 15. I think I got 4. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 15 of these balls, which is enough. So we're gonna set these to the side because all this is gonna get tossed into this water that's boiling. In a few minutes, I'm gonna start adding tomato sauce to it and all the flavoring and stuff like that. So this gets pushed over here to the side. Now I'm gonna get some other stuff and put it in the bowl. So folks, I got most of my vegetables. I think are done. Everything's all cut up. We got a couple more vegetables. I got some corn on the cob that I cut up in slices. I got about 15 in there, and I have some more vegetables here. I got some sweet potatoes and I got some more tropical vegetables in there. Now I am going to start to remove the onion and the pepper. It's been about an hour, so I think the flavors are done. And the onions are these big pieces of onions like this. I want to get rid of. Okay. I got some cilantro in there too that I'm going to put in there. Let me take this onion out. The onion's starting to fall apart. That means it's getting cooked already. And my pepper. Okay. Got my green pepper in there. So I got all the flavors out of there. Okay. Get rid of my green pepper. You can also chop it up in there and put it back in there. But you know what? I got enough flavoring in there. I got my meat in there. Let's get this onion out of here. It's a shame that this big onion's getting tossed out, but I got the flavors out of it. Okay, here we go, onion. Goodbye, onion. There we go. Now we're gonna start. Now you're gonna watch me how I put this broth together. Okay. Get some cilantro. Okay. Cilantro really gives. I like the taste of cilantro. Really gives a lot of flavor in it. Okay, now there's no coloring on this yet. You see, you notice. Now I'm gonna put my 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Okay, this is gonna start giving it the color. You see that? Okay, there you go. Get all that flavor in there. Okay, get all that nice juice in there. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So, there we go. So everything looks good already so far. I gotta taste this. I gotta see what it needs. Let's take some of this broth. Okay, needs a little flavor. It is kind of bland. We're gonna put some salt. We're gonna put some garlic powder. Let me show you. Put some garlic powder. There we go. Is that like a tablespoon? Yeah, that's about a tablespoon. Okay. And I'm not measuring really. Some garlic. There you go. Tablespoon of garlic. There we go. Put some. I got some pepper in here. Let's see. This pepper. Okay. I'm gonna put some beef broth in here. This gives it some flavor. There you go, look at that. Okay. So now those flavors should start to come together. Okay. Yeah. Okay, folks, so I just put some, I put an envelope of sazon with a chote, which is what gives it color, gives it a nice orange tint color to it. So I'm gonna let this boil for about another, we'll bring this back to a boil for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to start putting in my vegetables. I want you to stay with me. So folks, I empty some of the juice, the liquid, onto another pot, and then we're going to start putting in our vegetables. So we're going to start slowly dropping in. That's I think that's a sweet potato, yams, cassava. We're going to start slowly putting this in, okay? And we got a lot of stuff in here. We put our corn on the cob. Slowly drop everything in there. Okay, as you can see, the more liquid is rising. I'm gonna put some on in the other pot, so that pot catches flavor as well. Put some of these. So I'm gonna put these in separate. Here, cook these in here. Put some of these Puerto Rican meatballs, that I call them, in here. Okay. Some of the yuca, some of the squash. Okay, then we're gonna slowly put this in here. I'm gonna drop this slowly in. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, let's drop some of this stuff on this other one here. Okay. Now my meatballs here. Drop these in. These are sauce, so you gotta watch them. Drop these in. So this is almost done now. Now to boil all this stuff together, get the flavors out. Oh yeah. And we got some more stuff here left over. Let's see what we got here. Let's put some of this in there. We gotta put some of this over here. Okay, good. This is good stuff here. There you go. So folks, you see how it looks? It's coming to a boil again, and I'm just gonna let this boil and boil. There goes my meatballs. Look how they were small. Look how big they've grown already. So that's why I tell you, make them small, because they grow to be huge when they grow up. Okay, I got my meat underneath there. Yeah, folks, look at that. So that's gonna boil and get all that flavors out of there. Matter of fact, let me taste it. Let me taste this broth here. Delicious. So folks, let's look underneath the pot, because this is boiling. Look at this. Whoa, look at that. Look at that stuff. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? It smells delicious. Look at that. And we have a pot and a half. There's the other one. So yeah. So I'm gonna let this boil for a while. Get all the flavors in there. And then I'm making some rice. Some people at restaurants, sometimes they ask you if you want rice. They give you rice on the side. I've never eaten it with rice. You know, I just eat the liquid, the stew, the sauce, whatever that you want to call it, with the vegetables, and that's it. But like I said, some restaurants will offer you rice, and I guess it's used to that, and that's why I'm making rice. So I'm using my rice cooker that makes perfect rice almost every time. Oh, this is starting to spill over. Okay. Get some of this liquid out of here. Give me a second. So yeah, so I took some of the liquid out, put it in the other pot. Anyway, folks, I'm making rice, so the rice takes, I don't know, whatever it takes. When that rice is done, I think my Sancocho is done. I mainly did this because my mother came out of the hospital, and this is something great. This is good for your stomach. It really gives you energy. It's great stuff. So that's one of the reasons, basically, I did it. This is something that I usually do in the wintertime, because it does get hot. When you're cooking this stuff, it's hot. Even when you're eating it, you need to be inside an air-conditioned room, because this really it brings the heat out. And it's dripping a bit there. So my parents don't have air conditioners. I don't know how they're gonna eat this, but they don't sweat anymore at that age. I don't know. I guess when you're over 90 years old, you don't sweat. Your sweat glands are gone. I don't know. But anyway, folks. So this is and the next day this tastes better. It actually tastes better the next day, because all those vegetables in there give it flavor, and it gets kind of thick with the liquid. So actually, I'm cooking this today. I'm gonna eat from this, and then whatever's left, we have to figure out a way to store it in the fridge, and then tomorrow I'll take some some for my mother, my sister who's dying to eat sancocho. I don't think she's having sancocho in many, many years. She's been living in Virginia for 30 years or over. So I don't think she comes around sancocho that much. So my sister's gonna enjoy, my mother, and hopefully my father, who's not much of an eater, will enjoy some of this. So that's the purpose of me cooking this stuff, is to feed them, to give it to them, and and give it to them. And of course we're gonna have dinner today. This is it. So and then the rest. So like I said, you gotta let this cool down, and then put it in the fridge, and figure where you gotta put it in the fridge. So we'll figure something out. So folks, I want you to come back when we go to the table, and so you can see how this is done. My rice is it's gonna take about half an hour. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Come back in a half hour. Well, folks, the minute we've been waiting for, the sancocho is done. It cooked for about 2 hours and a half, give or take, right? I got my rice done. The rice cooker is telling me that it's done. Everything is done, so we are going to go to the table. So meet me at the table, because like I always say, everything looks better at the table. So folks, we're at the table now, and I'm about to show you. What we did here is called sancocho. It is a Latin vegetable soup, the best I could describe. It's like a stew. It takes a while to cook. It takes a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's got kind of tropical vegetables similar to like cassava, which is yuca. It's got this thing called yame. It's got corn. It's got plantains. It's got green bananas. So it's all these tropical. I'm pretty sure that comes from the Indians and Taino Indians. I don't know. I got to do research who made the first sancocho, but it probably is an Indian made kind of stew. So right after dinner, that has me thinking. Right after dinner, I'm gonna look it up and see where it comes from. But anyway, folks. So and then we got some rice for side dish with the sancocho. Some places if you go to a restaurant, they give it to you with rice. I'm just gonna eat it plain because I never eaten it with rice. But that it's rice. So it's got a lot of vegetables in it, and it actually tastes better the next day. So I made this especially for my mother and my sister. My mother's out of the hospital. My sister, who probably hasn't eaten sancocho in many years. She lives in Virginia, and this stuff is hard to find and to cook, and I don't think she has the time and wants to go through the trouble of making sancocho. It takes a lot. It takes about 2 hours, give or take. You got to really start over with some neck bones and stuff like that to get the juices out of the stock. So anyway, folks, let me turn the camera around and show you. So here it goes, and the stuff is in the bottom there. Let me show you. You got all this stuff. There goes some squash and there's meats in there. There's some yuca in there. That's what it looks like. Okay, and a bowl of rice. And we're using these Chinese bowls that I have. It's nice. This is actually a set. And the big one here is. I'm using a small dish. There we go. And the table like always looks like. Oops, it looks like this. Okay. Sit down and try this out. Like I said, usually this thing, the next day tastes real good because it sits in there and all those flavors come together. And when you warm it up the next day, it thickens up a bit because all the breaking down of the vegetables and stuff, so it thickens up more, and it really tastes good the next day. And this is good, like if you're sick, you just came out of the hospital, you just need something to wake. This will wake you up. It's really well, and you got to eat it in a place that's well vented, air conditioned, because it's gonna take the sweat out of it. It makes you sweat, it really does. So give me a second. I'm gonna sit down and tell you how it tastes. So, see how this tastes. This was a big pot. It came out like over 4 quarts of this stuff. I started out with 4 quarts. I ended up with a pot and a half. Can't stop. So it's got all the flavors in there of all the tropical vegetables and stuff. But like I said, this thing will definitely taste tomorrow much better when it thickens up and everything. I'm telling you. So anyway, folks, it's called sancocho. It's typically a Latin tropical soup, like a stew, and not to be mistaken with mondongo, which is similar to that, but that's beef tripe soup, and it's got the mondongo means the tripe. The mondongo is all the inside, the stomach, that kind of stuff that they put in there. Mondongo. Uh, I drink the the liquid out of mondongo, but I won't eat that mondongo stuff. It doesn't look right. But anyway, so this has beef, beef, but it got bones, pork actually. It's got pork bones where I sucked out the juice out of it to make it a stock. Instead of buying stock, I made my own stock. You're getting the juice out of the bones. And that's what makes the stock. So, but you can go to the store and buy stock. They sell stock and they sell broth. It's a difference. The stock comes from the bone. And so, anyway, folks, with that said, my soup is gonna get cold, and let me enjoy this. And I don't know what we got for tomorrow, but we think of something, and I'll be going to my mother's house to deliver this tomorrow, and so that might take half of my day or whatever. But anyway, folks, thank you once again for the well wishes and the prayers for my mother. She's doing a little better. She's hanging in there, what is to be expected from an 88-year-old woman, and she's moving around. I went there yesterday. She wanted to cook for me. I said, no, I gotta go home and cook. The first thing that comes out, like, what can I cook? She whispers to my sister, what can I cook for Justin? No, I'm gonna go home and cook. So, our mother's house. So anyway, folks, with that said, God bless her. God bless you guys. Thank you. And let me eat this and finish off. I will see you guys tomorrow.